I think the first priority that the Board of Trustees must tackle in the years ahead is, number one, modernizing our system of governance and making the university systemically transparent in all of its doings. We've got a system of governance that dates back to the 19th century and probably was appropriate in those times, but is no longer appropriate, as has been clearly made the case by what we've learned since November of 2011. We've got a system that just doesn't work anymore. Now, I support the efforts currently underway in the state legislature to advance some systemic reforms. Those are good. Those are first steps, but they're not all that needs to be done. We need to totally rethink how we govern this university and ensure that we are in a standard-setting organization, a board that other universities within the Big Ten, comparable state institutions and land-grant institutions here in the United States, and universities around the world, when they want to look at a model of good governance, they should be turning to Penn State. Right now, they turn to Penn State for an example of failed governance. That needs to be fixed. Now, the board is undertaking a number of incremental reforms, some of it limited by what they can do unto themselves, but it's clear to me that it hasn't done enough. The board remains in the grips of a small group of powerful people who believe they know better. I applaud those individuals. I'm sure they are genuinely motivated, doing what they think is best is right for Penn State, but they don't get it. They don't get it. You cannot treat Joe Paterno the way they did and understand the Pennsylvania State University. You can't understand that Joe Pa and his success with honor was the epitome of the things that many of us as alumni valued about our university. The fact that we did things the right way. We played by the rules. We ensured people graduated. We were a standard-setting organization, and we should embrace that instead of running from it, simply because it's politically expedient and we want to move on. We also need to make sure that we abide by and, in fact, fully embrace the appropriate state laws, to include the Sunshine Act, the Right to Know law, and the Ethics Act, as the Attorney General of the state indicated in his recent report. There are many areas in those three acts or laws where we're not fully compliant. And part of that is by choice, and part of it's because there are some changes that need to be made to those laws. But regardless, it is our obligation as a state-related institution, whether we're well supported by the state or not, to set an example for openness and good governance. And we can do that. But the way we do that is by working together and making changes. The status quo is not good enough. It is no longer acceptable for a small group of powerful people to work inside the Board of Trustees and then unveil, like we're at a Communist Party meeting or something, what decisions we're all to line up behind. I believe that I have an obligation as a member of the Board of Trustees, or I would have the obligation if I have the opportunity, to be a member of the loyal opposition, to speak freely and directly when I believe that the board has made a decision that is wrong for the university, it is contrary to our values, and is against the interests of those people who brought me to the board. You can count on me to do that. I'm not afraid.